Okay. So basically, what I just want to do is because quick testimony, I guess. I've been Christian all my life. I grew up. I loved FCA. It's honestly such a cool thing. Y'all don't even know. Community honestly is probably one of the most important things I think in faith, because everyone comes together. I feel I get really wrapped up in the way God's using me and how God wants to use me, and get wrapped up in all of that. And you don't realize that He's doing that with every single person as well. So it's really cool to just come together and be hey, God's working in me, and I don't know, it's just really awesome. So make sure y'all keep it up, even especially in college too. So how many of y'all are seniors? Okay. So I guess I'm hopefully juniors can relate too, but I'm gonna kind of talk about my transition from a senior in high school to a freshman in college, because it's a huge jump. Nicole can attest to that. It's spiritually, definitely, I don't know, mentally, emotionally, everything is just such a big difference. People tell you that, but y'all don't even know. But y'all will know next year. Let's see. So I'll kind of tell y'all how I transitioned. So high school, what I realized, so you get to college and you're I'm obsessed with Plano. If y'all don't know that, you probably do, because I'm obsessed with Plano. I still am. But so you go to college and you're yeah, I'm so excited to start this adventure. But what you don't realize when you get there, you're actually a nobody. Nobody knows your name. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows anything about you. And so that's where the transformation comes. People say you can be whoever you want in college, and that's so true. But what that made me realize in college is I really depended a lot on my own actions, and I let my self-identity come from myself. And that's what I didn't realize until I went to college and I was stripped of everything, and I was literally, who am I? I don't even know, because the first couple months was pretty hard for me. UT is such a big school, and coming from Plano, where I grew up here since kindergarten, so you're really familiar with everything. And you go to college and you're never fully comfortable until you really settle in. For me, it took probably a couple months. So at that point, I was really vulnerable and really asking God to give me comfort, and I was kind of wondering where my disconnect was, because I felt I had a really strong faith, I really pursued God in high school. But I think what God really told me is, throughout high school, you worked hard in thinking that that was your identity. And what I realized is, in life, your surroundings change constantly. Then the only thing that is constant in your life is God. And that's the one thing that was the biggest lesson. When people ask me what's what you learned in college, that's what I always say is God is the only constant thing in life, and so that's where you should kind of depend. That's where the dependence comes on, So does anyone have a Bible with them? If someone could open it to Hebrews 13:8. And then the next one's James 1:17.
I got James.
What's the Hebrew?
Hebrews 13.
Does Johnny have it?
Okay, anyone have it? Hebrews, read it.
Yeah. Okay. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever.
Okay, yeah, short and sweet, but it's literally that is the truth. He is the only thing. If you think about it, you'll go to college, and for me, I had the same group of high school friends, all throughout high school, all throughout middle school, and all of that changes. You have to make new friends, and all of that, and it's a really big change, but you'll realize God's definitely the constant one. Okay, so this is another little tidbit that what I realized in my journey and talking to a lot of my friends is that you get there and you're really vulnerable and you're okay, I don't know who I am, whatever. And a lot of people try to turn to something to find comfort. So a lot of people, you'll probably know, a lot of college people that come home a lot, that's probably what it stemmed from. It's needing that comfort, needing that familiarity. A lot of people, turn to alcohol. A lot of people party in college because I really think it's like where they're trying to find themselves, you know? And if you go to a party, everyone else is just like comfortable because no one really cares kind of atmosphere. And thankfully, by the grace of God, I turn to God for my comfort. And I think that really stems from being intentional at this point. Because that's one thing. I was in a small group my senior year in high school, and what my small group leader told me was like, you can't just go to college and think that everything's going to work out. Like you're going to grow and be an awesome person. You're going to work hard. You have to be intentional with your actions. Like for me, I'll be honest, like this time last year when people asked me like, hey, like, you know, I know you don't party in high school, I know you drink, but are you going to drink in college? And I'd tell them like, yeah, like maybe, like I don't really know. Thinking like I probably wouldn't, but I might if someone offers me a drink. And after like diving into the Bible about alcohol and stuff like that, I knew I was intentional in the fact that before I went to college, I knew I didn't want to drink, and I know I didn't want to put myself in that position. And if I didn't make that clear to myself, I don't know what would have happened freshman year, you know? So that's like one tidbit, definitely be intentional. Whether it comes from like alcohol, partying, whatever, academics, be intentional, like I want to work hard, I want to get good grades, or else, like Nicole and I were saying, like college is such a big culture shock that you'll just get wrapped up in it really fast.
Like no matter how like strong of a person you think you are, like it will like affect you in some way if you let it. Like it's just inevitable. So just make sure you're like aware of it, and because college is it's very cultural, and you don't even realize it really.
Yeah. It's like definitely a culture, and people tell you that like, oh, college is a lot of change, but know that like it's not easy the first couple months because it is a lot of change, and know like be intentional on what you want to find your comfort in. Get confident. That was God for me. Thank goodness. Let's see. Okay, so James 1:17.
It says, all generous giving and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or the slightest hint of change. I'm going to read that one more time because I did.
Okay.
All generous giving and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or the slightest hint of change.
Yeah, so the end of it saying, again, like, God's constant, like, He has no variation. And I guess, like, part of my testimony is, like, I got kind of wrapped up in, like, I feel like I work really hard, and so all the accomplishments I think it's my own glory, and, like, I try to glorify God, and that was my mindset, but, again, like, you get really wrapped up in it to make sure, like God said, like Austin said in the Bible verse, like God gives you, like, everything you do, that you can't even give yourself any credit at all, because that's God working through you, and without Him, like, you're nothing, yeah, so, I mean, like, my biggest thing is, like, the biggest thing I learned is, like, my identity, and, like, I identified myself in high school with, like, working hard and trying to do my best, and thinking my hard work was through me, but college has definitely taught me that, like, God has made me in His image, and if anything, like, the identity is, like, straight in Him, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, do y'all have any questions about college, or, like, anything, like, open floor? Like, drinking, like...
You can be honest.
Yeah, like, let's be real. It's gotta get real in a couple months.